Let the clarity and the wisdom be known that all of us need to run our offices to Lord and to serve the public well. And I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call the meeting to order. Declare we have a quorum. Ms. Gento, consent agenda items.
All right, I have regular minutes of August the 11th and 18th, special minutes of August the 7th and 11th. I have a personnel report. I have certification of additional revenue, amendment changes by fund, investment report July 2025, auditor's report of financial condition unreconciled 8/20/2025, treasurer's report for July 2025, departmental financial reports. I have DMV, and then bills, funds, and accounts I had 5 sets. No course completions or no purchasing acknowledgements. So,
You have 5 sets of bills, claims, and accounts?
there was one that came in late. I think it was
Calm
Friday.
down.
Oh, I'll have to go print that one, Judge. I haven't approved it.
Okay. All right.
Would you like me to go over the August report?
No, but you're going to anyway, so.
Would you go print off out of my email? Did it come from Leslie Ray or you, Christina?
Came from me.
From Christina Friday afternoon.
Which one is it? Hold on.
Trying to find it on
I thought I had printed that off.
I'll go through the statement of cash position, and this is as of the 20th. General fund, all funds on deposit. General ledger balance, $3,107,231.25. Road and bridge, $415,093.71. On the second page, all funds, $8,826,524.13. In the statement of revenue and expense, general fund, we are still expecting $404,695.56 in revenue. And the expenses, $2,736,741.57. So as of right now, if we spent 100% of remaining budget, we would still have about $400,000 in the bank. And road and bridge, remaining expenditures $802,152.03, and largely in part that is because of the CWDG grant, which we should be reimbursed by the Forest Service. And the rest of the funds are listed.
Let's give him Philip the Evil Eye.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you get that a lot? Then the statement of revenue and expense for juvenile and adult, and August is the end of their fiscal year. Thank you, Sonia. And then the schedule of payments for the remainder of the year with, it shows 4 lease purchase agreements. We still have 1 that we'll have a payment on next fiscal year.
Any questions for,
I'll make the motion for the bill with addition of paying the Texas road and sign bill for the dust control at the urban space park. I brought
okay.
the PO in with me a while ago.
Okay.
To go ahead and pay them for that.
Who is it to? I'm sorry.
Texas road and sign. It's for dust control at the wind turbine space park. That we put out last Thursday.
uh,
Yes.
think Andy needs some of that.
Some odd dollars.
I like those.
I thought you had somebody explaining about that. Okay, motion by Mr. Rain,
Second.
second by Mr. Maxwell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
We had a second by Commissioner Wilson.
Okay, well, Andy, you just got this,
Right.
so
Thank you. Next time.
I'm not worried about it.
Just put junior in cover. A whole lot more what you got there.
Oh. That's a lot of detail.
We get fast at that sign.
Telling you.
I'm on it, man. I'm on it.
Practiced all weekend.
Okay, I'll practice this all weekend.
There you go.
Hey, woman.
That's fine. You gotta sign the rest of them.
Oh, I didn't sign them?
No, Andy.
Oh,
I'm dragging too soon.
There's too many signs. Nobody signed it.
Did the judge not sign? Oh.
That's why it's going so fast. I didn't sign anything.
gee.
I think I just ought to get a. This. I ought to just get a 4-line stamp. You can just line them up and boom, pass it in.
Take all the fun out of it, Judge.
Yeah, because I just messed up. I should have had a 5-line stamp. I didn't have to.
Judge, you got your shotgun rolled up. That season's coming.
Well, I think the DA and I are going
All right, good deal.
somewhere.
Shoot each other.
Just depends how that's going that day.
I guarantee you.
Then that shotgun birdshot's pretty deadly up close.
Yeah.
And then forward the scope's a lot more. Okay, burn ban. I've talked to, or text 3 of the chiefs, and all 3 chiefs recommended we leave it on. The rain that we got wasn't significant enough to do anything. That's okay with everybody.
Yeah, very good.
All right, emergency amendments.
None, Judge.
All right. Presentation regarding the project to develop flood prediction model and flood early warning system for Leon and Cowhouse watersheds in Central Texas. Mr. Manning.
Morning, Judge.
Morning.
just stand out here and visit.
There you come sit down at the chair.
Whichever you like.
Which you want to say? So, Steve Manning, Natural Resources Solutions. Rob Casey Childers with me. We are part of a team that's been contracted with Texas A&M to develop a flood prediction model, flood early warning system, also has a fire component to it. This project is federal funds that came through HUD to the General Land Office, Texas General Land Office. GLO then contracted with Texas A&M. We're under that Texas A&M contract. This project's at 100% funded federal funds. There are no match, no funding requirements for the counties. You're looking at the project area. It's specific to the watersheds. It's going to be the Leon and Cowhouse watersheds. Takes in a good portion of your county. The components include flood prediction model, flood early warning system. The Texas A&M Bush School has got a policy component because we recognize there were some issues as we started working through this about who's got responsibility for certain things. So the Bush School will be making a report back to the Land Office, ultimately the Texas Legislature on this. There's also a little bit of a groundwater component in that the model, and I'm not qualified to explain the model that's A&M, but it combines three different things. It's got hydrology, hydraulic, and then it's got groundwater, all linked into one model, which is a little bit different than previous models. Now I'm talking to you guys about flood modeling, understanding that maybe y'all don't see as many floods up here as some of the lower part of the project area. There's some other things we're going to talk about that come with this. And one of those is the fire component. So we've got some things we'll talk about on fire, which may be of more interest to y'all. Casey, can you go to maybe HUD 14 somewhere there? So the modeling is got a level of precision that's not what you would typically see. So USGS has something called hydraulic unit codes at HUCs, and the entire country's mapped out in HUCs 1 through 12. And the lower the number, the bigger. Like the Mississippi Basin would be like a 1. Okay, the smallest that USGS goes to is a 12. A&M's developed a HUC 14. There's nothing like it anywhere else. So this entire project area is divided in 448 different little, very small micro watersheds. And what we've done, we've gone in through this entire project area and got on the ground with a little army of technical people, and we've mapped out every place where water intersects with a public roadway in any part of that county or any of the project area within the counties. We've gone to that particular site. We determined what it is, whether it's a 6-inch plastic culvert or a bridge, what it's made out of, what condition it's in. We've also got pictures. And then we've also assessed those for risk from flooding. Okay. So what you're going to look at here, is this in Eastland County? Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the high risk. We're calling this a horizontal layer. The red ones are horizontal. So that's a culvert or a low water crossing or a bridge. And so this is a layer for your county. You can go to any one of these. Well, this is the data. So that's a culvert. It's my glasses. What is it? 16-inch, made out of iron, not in good, it's in poor condition. So we've got that for all of your county that's inside the project area, mapped out. That comes with this. Let's go to a vertical. We've also got a vertical layer. I heard y'all talking about the fire, what you're doing right now. Mm-hmm. So we've got a vertical layer. Again, we're looking at this from a flood perspective in this particular instance. But we've also mapped out the at-risk structures from flood in vertical. So that's a barn or a government building or a house. See if you can find us a vertical somewhere. Like I said, your county doesn't have near as much at-risk stuff as we would see farther down into the watershed. Just hit one there somewhere.
That's what I'm working earlier on. Either way, all the vertical structures that are highlighted here, all these little polygons, those are all in the high risk areas according to in the floodplain. Base level engineering that was developed by Texas Water Development Board, which is a little bit more conservative than what the normal FEMA floodplain would be.
Right, I guess we should talk about that. So if you go to the FEMA layer for the state, FEMA didn't cover everything, right? They've got just, they spent money in the big urban centers. The rest of the country, a lot of the Texas were not covered. So Texas Water Development Board went in not too long ago, and they mapped out, they've got the entire state with what they're calling a base level engineering, BLE layer. And we're using that. So he's got it pulled up right there. So this is what the Water Development Board is showing as areas that have a little more, they've got more of a chance to flood. So we pulled from the BLE for what we did for the entire watershed to be consistent. We couldn't use FEMA because we could only use it for pieces. If you want to go to Clean and Belton, yeah, they have one part.
Right.
But if you try to get up here, they didn't have much. They weren't really thinking about rural Texas. So that's the so those layers come with what we're going to talk about. Let's go to the gauges. Can you do that? So one of the things, and something we need to say here, this project was underway way before what happened in Kerrville last month. This project was on the drawing board 20 months before that flood occurred. It was rolled out publicly in June of last year. We were operating by November of last year. So one of the things that we determined is that there were not enough gauges, enough flood gauges in the watershed, which is not an uncommon problem. And so one of the things that this project does, it adds additional gauges. Now, they're not in gauges in your county, but you'll have access to all those, right? So what you're looking at, we added, the dark ones are in the main stem of either the Leon or the Cowhouse, and the light blue ones are in the tributaries. And this was based off what the modeler said they needed.
Can I ask why there's not any in Eastland County, considering that everything originates here, basically going down that direction?
So you're asking me a modeler's question. I don't know the answer to that. The A&M guys mapped out where they wanted additional gauges. I would say that if this county thought that they had a need or wanted a gauge, I think we've got enough discretion in our funds that we could add.
I was just curious because we're at the very top of what everything's going
right,
down.
You're at the headwater.
Yeah.
And this is in addition to what's already out there, USGS and NOAA gauges. So this is
so you're going to know your county way better than I ever would. If there are places where y'all think that would benefit from a gauge, we're open to talking about that.
Well, just Andy's looking at me because we've seen the situation where I've got a rain and I've got roads underwater, and I've called him and he said it takes about 8 hours for water to get from where my far end to him.
Okay.
So within 8 hours, what roads that I've got underwater are going to be underwater on his side.
So if y'all had some input for us about gauges, then
I was just curious because it's all filtering to Lake Leon, which is going to come down where you're working at through there.
So I mean, that would be something that if y'all got input, we haven't started. We're just about to start installation, probably in the next month or so. But we've got the ability to move a little bit.
Just asking, just curious.
So let's go to one of the websites. So in order to put this information out, there's two different levels of web applications. So is this the public?
This is the dispatch.
Okay. Let's get to the public first, then we'll go to dispatch. So what county are you in?
This is Eastland.
Okay, so this one's not open yet, right? So we've already built the product. Tell you what, let's go to one of the real counties first, Casey. Let's do that. Can you go? You have one of them where you can hit it?
One of the real counties?
Yeah, the real site. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So this data that you're seeing, this is being input by the Cordell County Sheriff's Dispatch. So there's several things going on. We've got some road closures. Go and show them a road closure there. So this is right on the Leon. The Straws Mill wiped out the crossing, and so the county shut that down. And it's got a little bit of data in there. This is the last time it was checked, but road closure, low water crossing. when we got the floods back in the late spring, early summer time frame, there were a lot of closures on there. As those roads were, like you're talking about, where your roads are going underwater, dispatch, when they get a call from either small county, all hands on deck, right? So you had the county sheriff's office, you had volunteer fire departments, county road and bridge, everybody was on this system. And so they were plugging closures in and we were putting them out for the public to see in real time, okay? But these two are the residual that were damaged enough that they haven't been repaired yet. All of your gauges are on there. That's I think that's a NOAA gauge. That's right there in Gatesville. That's live feed. Okay. You can see gauges anywhere in the country off this site, but you can sure see that's the one with Cow House. Same thing. The other thing we're doing with the site, can you go down and show them a fire somewhere? And we got a fire or two on it. Okay. So that's a controlled burn. The Coriel County is not in a burn ban. This is going through the sheriff's office. So they're tracking those fires so that if somebody calls in and they see something, well, we already know, and the county knows, and so do the fire departments, if it's something they need to worry about or if it's a controlled burn. Something that we're adding to this that we should add within the next 30 days or so, we're going to start with Coriel County. We're the computer assisted dispatch. So this county, I'm sure y'all are a real county. This county's operating a PSAP, a 911 call center. When you get a 911 fire call, whatever your vendor is, you're going to have some sort of a drop down menu where you're putting in it's a structure fire or a car fire or it's it'll have time and location and several things. We're going to be able to pull all that information and put it on that site, on that platform. So as fast as that dispatch is entering that data into that, it'll hit that platform. So you'll have one spot where you can see anything to do with fire. I will tell you that the Texas Forest Service is working with us on this. They're extremely interested in this site, and they're testing it right now out of the McGregor Station because they don't have anything like that. They've got a great system for them, but it's a silo. You can't see inside of it, and they don't really have a way to plug in with everybody else. And so this gives them a platform they can input into this system. If they get, and I know I'm talking to a county that got hit with fire pretty hard. If it gets to the point where you get those big airplanes dumping that orange stuff on the ground, y'all are all seeing each other. And you've got them inputting data and you inputting at the same time on one platform. So I told the judge I'd keep this pretty short. So this is sort of an idea. Like I said, it's already built. It's going to be there. It's funded. If you want to use it, what we're doing with all the other counties. So Comanche, Hamilton, Coriel, their sites up and running. Erath County, we talked to them a while ago. We met with their judge and their EMC a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. They're coming online sometime in the next couple of weeks. They're going to come online. Dale County, we go there. We've already been to see them, and they're playing around with the system. But we go to Dale County next week. Mills County, which they've got a small sliver of their county. We just talked to their EMC a little bit ago, and they're going to come up. So while the flood predictive model only covers the Leon, the platform we're talking about covers the entire county. So you'd have access to that platform for road closures or fires or anything you wanted for the entire county. There's not a cost. The two things I would say, for smaller counties, we're going to spot you one Esri license. So this is all out of Esri. You were talking about Art Pro, Commissioner. Well, that's an Esri product. So all this is built off of Esri's site. So in order to, if your dispatcher was running that site, they would need an Esri license. It's a pass-through cost for us. It's $250 per year per license. We're going to spot you one. Okay. Most counties, and it's a policy decision, if you decide you may want if you have an EMC, an emergency management coordinator, or if your sheriff may want 2 or 3, or if if you're going to do that, then we want y'all to pay for those additional licenses. The only other commitment from y'all, once a year, we would do a data call to see if y'all change any of your culverts or your bridges or anything. Those modelers need to know that. So if you've taken out a 6-inch culvert and put a 36-inch culvert in, the flow's different, we would like to know that to keep the model current. So the two commitments we look for is for y'all to once a year help us update the horizontal structures. And then if you want licenses, we'll spot you one, but if you decide you want more than one, then we'd ask y'all to pay for those.
So you were talking about our sheriff is here, Sheriff Wager. He's also over the dispatch unit. But you were saying that how's it making the jump from I think the dispatch is using eForce. How's it making the jump from there into this system? Or is that something that has to manually be done by the dispatcher or whoever?
The dispatcher wouldn't do anything different. We set up an API between those two systems.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing this in Coryell County right now. We set up an API between those two systems. So when his dispatcher is typing that in, it's popping over there too, same time. The dispatcher doesn't do anything different.
Okay.
And we don't want any CGIS data on this system. Okay?
What's this for?
The sheriff had stuff out. I know you were doing it. So this is actually was designed for lack of a better word, floodplain stuff. Okay, but there's also a fire component on here as well, and there's also Coryell County is using this there's a public side of this that the junkie public could access, where it would show road closures and. Like if you went up there and had the example he was using is if somebody called in and there was a controlled burn or something like that, they're inputted on one side and it's automatically going into that the fire department and this, sheriff's office, whoever can look at it and go, well, that's a controlled burn. We don't need to really be worried about that particular deal. It sounds pretty cool. I mean, it wouldn't, because that was the first thing I was thinking of. Is this going to impact more work for your dispatchers? But the way he's talking, like right there, there's a fire there, but you can go up there. They had some flooding where there was some bridges washed away, and they haven't had a chance to repair those bridges in Coryell County, and so the public has access to that to be able to see in real time this bridge is still closed, and so and it's free money. I say free money. Nothing's freaking free, but it doesn't cost us anything. There's no local match or whatever. It's already funded. The only thing that would be extra is the Esri license. They're going to spot us one, but it's like $250 a year.
For us,
pretty reasonable, huh?
For us to be able to see it.
No, if you want an additional.
If you want to input.
If you want to input, yeah, junkie public can look at it, or anybody could look at it. It's just a matter of you being able to have input abilities through dispatch or whatever. I would think that's the only one that would need to.
That's purely a policy call. You can always go, if you decide you want more later, we can add more later. It's not like you have to make some hard decision on how many licenses a day.
Yeah.
Is this like the deal we had at Eastland where you can layer whatever you want on there?
Yeah, it's basically art. It's part of it.
You can show them some of the stuff that's on their Casey, the layers.
Yeah, I hate to bring it back, but like I said, he got called out on the call.
Yeah.
And he's a whole lot more computer savvy than
They've already
I
mapped
am.
out all of our culverts and bridges and everything for the floodplain part of it.
So we got weather imagery on there. You got all of your gauges. Casey put some make-believe fires on there to just show you what they would look like. Y'all would input, someone here would input fire and road closures, that kind of thing. You don't want us doing that. If the call's coming to your office for a fire, whether it's good or bad, then when you're inputting that, it will go. There's two different levels. For what the emergency management and the county officials see, there's more data. Mm-hmm. The public has a filtered version of that. The public doesn't need to know the name of where the fire is or who called in for prescribed burn. But the sheriff needs to know that. Yeah. And the county would need to know that. I asked about the fire department's commissioner because we're in the same boat. Nearly all the counties that you're looking at are small rural counties with volunteer fire departments. And they don't have money. So what we've done to go with this is nearly everybody's got an iPhone or or an iPad, and so we've developed an Apple app. We created ourselves, and I'll tell you, dealing with Apple's worse than dealing with the federal government. We got it registered where, like your fire departments, you still got to have an Esri license, but they can go to that Apple app and download it on their phone or their iPad, and they can see and they can input into the system. Okay, and we just met with Hamilton County's volunteer fire departments last Tuesday. I days right together, but anyway, we were in Hamilton County at 6:30 one evening, and so that we can help those fire departments. Same deal. They don't have a lot of funds. We want them to be able to access this because in a small county, when you have something bad happen, it's all hands on deck.
Yep.
And so you want as many different jurisdictions as possible to be able to interact off that platform.
He said the Forest Services, Texas Forest Service is pretty interested in this deal. He said they have their own, but it doesn't work well with anybody else's. But this deal, you could go up there and be able to, I'm assuming, call in different coordinates and stuff and say the fire's at, at this lat long or whatever. And that way you'd have a real-time vision of where and I'm going back to the fire because that's what hurts us the most, is you have a real-time deal that the Forest Service can access, right? Is that correct?
And they can input into
it. So when you got the big tankers flying over, they know exactly where they're going. You know exactly where they're going. So it's a pretty cool system.
And everybody that's on that app, it's got a real-time tracking component, so we can see you moving around. So
cool.
So those something we work that out with Texas Forest Service because that's the concern of theirs when they're working with in a county like this where y'all have the fire. You got a bunch of people moving around. It's hard to keep track of them.
Yeah.
Well, if they're on that system, you can see each other, and the Forest Service can see you. And so they're extremely interested in this because of the capacity it gives them to interact with local communities that are resource limited. One last thing I'll say, Judge, is it is likely that this project is going to expand. There's a lot of interest in it. GLO's already put some money in. Looks like they're about to put some more in. We're going to keep pushing this out into other counties. Because of that, going back to floods, Flash Flood Alley, well, Coryell County is in the geographical center of Flash Flood Alley. So we are building a facility. It'll be online by this time next year. It's going to be a 24/7, 365 with people in it that understand those models. It would be a backstop to y'all. So if you get into another bad fire situation and you run these platforms, we'll be able to see what you can see. And if there are things you need us to pick up to help coordinate, you'll have people there. Okay. And again, no funds out of y'all's budget. The state actually might have done something right this time. They put some dollars back into rural counties.
What about the rural fire departments? If they come on, will they have to pay the license fee?
So I can't get around the Esri license fee. That's a pass-through cost for us. So absolutely. There's a different, if they're not trying to input it, they just want to be able to see. If they just want to see the public site, then they don't need Esri. But if they want to be inputting, we would put them on our Apple license, which we're not going to charge for, our Apple app. But they would need an Esri license. And an Esri editor license costs about $250 a year. That's a pass-through cost. So you might want one per, if we could figure out a way that each fire department had at least one of those. Maybe the chief's got one or whatever y'all want to do. Well, we're having the same discussion with a lot of other fire departments right now, trying to figure out the best way to help them plug into this.
Well, and I can $250 a year is not cost prohibitive, but I think about some of our smaller volunteer fire departments, of which Ms. Gento's involved with one of them, is I don't know why you really actually need to input anything if you can pick up the radio and call dispatch and say this is. Because that's what they're used to.
And let them input. They can
let them input that deal because dispatch needs to know where the head of that fire's at.
Sure.
Jason.
Yeah, there's more stuff to keep up with it. We'll have to have 15 iPads in all our cars.
Well,
You know,
no, I'm talking about is there a way to sit there and I mean, aren't y'all doing that right now where somebody calls in, a deputy or a volunteer fireman says, hey, the fire's now at this
yeah, it's
location.
all on call sheets.
So, but if it's all on those call sheets, if they're inputting it already, it's automatically going over here.
Well, it wouldn't. It depends on the API with eForce, but the way we input, it's all in the call notes, and that's not going to transfer over to this. The only thing that will transfer over to this will be the address of where it's at.
The original data entry.
The original data entry.
So-
Everything after that is not.
So Sheriff, when you get a 911 call for fire, I'm not familiar with eForce, but is it got a drop down menu where you're plugging in like it's a structure fire or it's all that would transfer?
Yeah.
All that would transfer. So you'd be able to tell
Just the initial part.
right. And you wouldn't want a lot. I mean, if you just got the basics where you know where it is, what time, and what kind of fire it is, and if there's people involved, if you got.
It'd be great if it did it all in the background and we don't have to input nothing.
You're not. We wouldn't want you
It's tied
inputting.
together with eForce because they're busy. They're busy inputting.
Well, and that's the only reason
Yeah.
that I
This would be
was
good.
telling him is because if somebody technically, ideally, I guess, is that you've got a deputy at a certain location, and he says the head of the fire is here right now. They're inputting that data into eForce.
In the note.
In the notes.
Yeah.
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 So
Don't push through the API, correct?
So
They
the other thing.
wouldn't push to the API.
So Sheriff, when you're talking about getting iPads, you've already got some sort of a computer in your patrol. So either a Topo or iPads. There are iPads. Well, you're already home free. You don't need. I mean, what we would do if you wanted, you would. That Apple app would just be another feature on there,
Yeah.
and you could click on that. That would access the system,
Yeah.
and you'd be able to. You may already have Esri licenses with those. I don't know what eForce. That's something to look into. Anyway, we would work with y'all to make sure that you could access the system. You can figure out who you wanted to input,
Well,
and again, what we're doing with all the other counties, y'all would like to get somebody, whoever y'all decide, let them start playing around with it. Casey's the guy that's going to be interfacing with whoever y'all pick out, and give them a little training on it and let them play around with it some. And then whenever you're ready, if you decide you want to go forward,
Raise your hand, Jason.
Yeah.
we would bring that site up live whenever you're ready, and where you'd have a public site and then you'd have one that's in dispatch.
The sheriff's already got an app for his department. It's pretty neat.
And what'd be cool is to tie the public side into that app.
Yes.
yeah.
And then you don't have the citizens having to download 15 apps to figure out what's going on.
Sure.
They
I'm
can
sure
go to that platform and see everything.
I'm sure somebody smarter than any of us can figure out a way to incorporate that into your downloadable app. Like I said, his is actually pretty impressive. You go over there and check on inmates and different stuff, code reds, and I mean everything else. So, yeah, I like the fact that if we could sit there and tie all of that together, so you're not having to download, because we've got a lot of older people that live in this county that are not, maybe computer savvy, and the easier we can make it for them, the easier they're able to access some of the information that they actually need. And the other thing is we could sit there, and one of the things that all this kind of evolved from is from that last fire, is that we had the code red warnings in the cities, but we didn't have them in the county, and the sheriff took it on his own to initiate that, and now everybody's kind of under the same kind of warning system. But we had fires headed to Lake Leon, and I mean, we were literally picking up the phone, calling people we knew at Lake Leon to say, can you call your neighbors and tell them they need to evacuate? That's not a good system.
I agree.
But the fire was moving so fast, there was no way to go up there, even get a deputy over there, because it was like a racehorse, so anyway. Well, Steve, thank you.
So when is all this kicking off?
Well,
It's
we
up
have
to
to
y'all.
commit to it, yeah. We have to commit to it.
What my suggest is, before you commit to anything, let the sheriff or whoever you want, we'll get case and get it linked up and let them get where they get their hands on that and play around for a little bit, make sure they like it. Then if they do, if y'all decide that's what you want to do, we'll get you signed up. There's no, like I said, it's not a money thing.
Yeah.
And
So just for another deal, because like I said, this is actually heavy on the flood component side. You know, they mapped out all of the culverts and everything else, you know, so we could go up there and maybe have a license up here or somewhere where you guys replace, like what he's talking about, you replace a 10-inch culvert with a 24-inch culvert or whatever. They could call in because that's the data year one, right?
right, we want to keep that layer current so that the model works right.
Yeah. So instead of buying 4 different licenses and stuff, maybe get Shelby coached up on it.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's not listening. Where you guys could call in and just say, hey, we're replacing, and really even a damaged culvert. You know, hey, we're replacing this damaged culvert with a brand new, same size culvert.
We want to keep that current though. You're exactly right. The tighter that is, the better off. Y'all would have access to the layer. So like the thing he pulled up, it's already built. Whoever's got access to this site, not the public side, but the county site, would see all of that, would see all those structures and how they're rated, what condition they're in, and what they are. And then the same thing on the vertical. Yeah. So y'all would have access to all that.
Yeah. But we could do that as we go along, and that way you guys would have semi-real-time data that would get inputted in there.
No, absolutely. Like I say, it's not something this isn't some hard sell. It's going to be there anyway.
Yeah.
Y'all can start out, and if you decide later you want to add more people, you can. Or if you don't, if you want to take people off, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's really, it's designed for y'all to do the inputs as far as the fire and the road closures and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do that here locally.
Yeah.
And have control of it.
Yeah.
And as we add additional features, they're just covered. So like the 911 fire piece, we'll add that in here a little later on. You'll just have it.
Yeah.
We may come back. How does that come back off? Fire's over.
So on the controlled burns, he's got it built where they and this is something we learned out of Coryell County. It sweeps all of them at 3 a.m. every morning. So if you've got control burns on there, when you don't have a burn ban, they just go away automatically. If you got a fire that there was a structure fire, and
this one I have on here, you just edit it, click it, edit it, all the data's in there, make it inactive, submit it.
it goes off. It goes off the map, but you've always got the data.
Yeah, it's
So-
not,
so-
you didn't delete it. No, you have a
So
history.
to your point, someone at your place would be on a 911 fire. Someone would be inputting that the fire's taken care of at some point. But you'll always have a record of all those fires. It's all on the cloud. You can go back a year from now. Somebody's talking about what happened with such fire. You'll have it.
Which would be handy for other mitigation grants and stuff, you know, but I could also see where that would be handy for us to look at the historical data to target these. I mean, they're doing a pretty good job of visiting with the commissioners, our mitigation guys are, to know, hey, this is we need to hit this county road, you know, because they're cleaning fence line to create a fire break. But if they had that on there, they could, I think, especially the Forest Service can access it. We can say, hey, look, we're actually being smart about this deal.
Yeah.
And we're basing this based on the data that you have access to.
Right. That
this was the path of the fire for 2 years in a row, more or less, or 2 times. And we're targeting the same path. Well, I'll be honest with you, this is a lot more impressive than I thought it was going to be.
I always appreciate honesty, Jim.
Yeah, I'm brutally honest. You can ask
All the
anybody.
counties, it's only going to be as good as the people who are using it, people that are inputting data, and then, of course, then that translating over to the public side, you know. So
So like Comanche County right now, they're using it for all their road construction. They're mapping that construction out. So if they've got a road under construction or about to be, they're posted on that public site. Small counties like that, like y'all's, people will learn, even if they're not real computer literate, if they know that's there and it's got stuff that's valuable to them, they'll go look at that site.
Well, we had, 6 months ago, we had the flood down in Rising Star with Commissioner Wilson's deal, and we had roads closed all over the place. And they were, well, even Ronnie will tell you, he'd never seen them washed out that bad before.
So,
And that was how much rain did y'all get?
I think it's like 9 inches in like 2 hours or something like that.
I mean, it's stinking.
they wiped out a bunch of stuff. Didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing about that is when you are having all that pleasant experience dealing with FEMA, you've already got a record of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already got a built-in record that you can go back and access. If that flood was happening and you had your folks calling in saying, close this road, close this road, close this road, you're tracking all that.
Right.
And we would be able to help you with the model to prove up your cost, and your damage.
Right.
The model actually provides you because the model, I didn't talk much about the flood model because I figured fire was going to be a bigger issue here, but that model actually that model's running 24/7. It's pulling off a National Weather Service data and goes and 2 or 3 other things, and plus all the flood gauges, okay? And it updates once an hour. It never quits, never stops. And it's just like the weather forecast. The closer it gets to an event, the tighter it gets. It'll start out maybe at 50% reliable forecast. It'll get up to 90, 95. And if we get to a situation where we can see something bad's going to happen, we're going to call you out of that center. We're going to pick up the phone and call whoever, the sheriff or whoever, and let them know that you got something coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be huge, like Robert said, if we can get a gauge in our county. I think we need one if we decide to do this.
Well, all of a sudden, Rising Stars become our flood center. Carbon's our fire center, and Rising Stars our flood center.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out a way to somehow to combine the two and maybe mitigate both of them.
Well, we have the funds to help with a gauge. Gauges are not cheap, but if y'all going to do that, we'd like to know now so we can go and plug in the system, and just because we're about to buy a bunch of gauges, and y'all can talk about it. But if you decide you want a gauge somewhere, I don't think we can do 4 or 5, but we can if y'all can figure out a good spot for a gauge somewhere, we stand up for a gauge.
Because we go back to
2 different watersheds. What he's talking about is Savannah, which is going to go to Proctor and down that way, and then it would be the Leon.
Yeah.
So you're trying to angle for 2 of them?
Well, I'm just saying what they're talking about in Rising Star is a different watershed than what we're going to deal with here in Eastland.
But they're both inside our project area?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're big time. And that's so down there, the Savannah River is what's causing all the flooding. Over here, it's the Leon that's causing all the flooding coming down this way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now they did some flood mitigation here, Eastland did, and helped the city of Eastland out quite a bit because when I was still chief, we had water across Main Street in 2 different areas during one flood. And, those big old tall, cones.
They'll both below the dams.
Yes,
What it
those
looks
these
like.
are both right after the dams. These are the NOAA gauges that are publicly available already.
And that's live feed.
Yeah.
So the model takes into account the ones that are already on the ground too.
We're just adding more, so the model's got a tighter
Right.
pattern to it. We're adding more gauges.
Well, and Robert's serious about, what's going on in Cisco eventually winds up hitting over here,
Yeah.
So y'all talk about it. Like I said, we would be willing to look at helping you out up here on it. We weren't sure, but
No, it's
Well, we had a 15 and 16 were both FEMA floods years. Prior to 15, it was what 10. I guess we had 13 inches one night, and one between precinct 3, precinct 4, and the Callahan County 2 precincts in one location. They actually wiped out bridges and everything out there.
Callahan right now still has road closed from that flood 6 months ago.
Yeah.
We got them.
Yeah, so that's like I said, that's 2 different watersheds. basically on the Savannah and then the Leon. They're all going to filter to the Leon,
Right.
as it goes down on the Savannah side of it. But the origination of it's going to be two different watersheds on us. And I don't know if being below the dam, I would think something around Old Lake Eastland, which is going to be a filter point coming in through the city of Eastland.
You scroll that in.
Yeah,
They-
right there. You got your cursor on it. That is the filter point for what they call the north branch of the Leon coming in. Everything that filters through Cisco comes to that lake right there.
They don't have a gauge already somewhere? No gauge? Okay.
Because
No.
everything below Lake Cisco Dam actually filters to Hubbard Creek and Breckenridge.
Okay.
It flows almost north on the Sandy.
Yeah, I could tell you before they did a lot of that flood mitigation, it was,
See, it
Horrible.
flows north
Absolutely
towards Sandy,
horrible.
towards Stevens County.
and we haven't had, I mean, that's the best way for us to, for the city to mitigate the flood was to do all that flood mitigation stuff, because we haven't had any sizable rain since then.
All quietly.
Very.
So y'all think about that. In the meantime, if you're okay, what Casey can work, I guess, with the sheriff and make sure that he can get hands on it. We'll send an Esri license over. I'm pointing to you, Sheriff, but unless you, Judge, it's up to you, but we'll send an Esri license over. We got it. It'll be an editor license where you can input, and let somebody play around in that thing and get comfortable with it and make sure they're okay with it. And if you like it, you need to let us know.
Well, I guarantee you that guy right there is, like I said, is pretty computer savvy. If you have a glitch in anywhere, he's going to tell you where it's at.
Well, and we want to know. If you find one, we want to know about the glitches.
We just need to figure out the API.
Well, and we got to figure out, is eForce going to tie into that? And is there a way to? Because he typically,
I've got them tied into this before.
They have no. This is all. I mean, we built this whole thing from scratch, so it didn't exist before not very long ago. So what we would do, so we have an outfit, a vendor that's in between called NoPage. NoPage works with all the CAD folks. They build the API and they send it over to us. And so we have to get out the way more details you probably need, but on the CGIS side, because you're handling CGIS data over there. Well, in order to tie to a CGIS thing, we get a waiver from the administrator out of Austin that runs all the CGIS stuff. And Coryell County's got their letter right now. The county attorney's drafted the letter, sent it to the CGIS people. They're about to send a release, and then we'll pull the API together and start pulling data out of that. Hamilton County is right behind. They're about to do the same thing. Comanche County, we're working with the sheriff over there closely on this. I think they're in the same place. So if y'all decide to do that, we'll already kind of plowed that ground once. You'll have the letter. It needs to come from someone in the county saying, yes, we want to do that. Then we'll pay for the API and everything it takes to pull the signal. So
on the public side of this, does the public have to have a username and password or anything?
no.
No.
No,
Just put
but
a link on your county webpage. I can go
so y'all got a Texas Association of Counties helps you with your site. Everybody's got using tax sites. So if you look at Hamilton County, they put that link up on their county website. Go through our permissions, and then there it is. Anybody can do that.
You can do it on the phone too. There's a desktop, a tablet, and a phone version for this.
I was just thinking about my app. Tied in
well, I think it'd be handy for your deputies to have it. I know it'd be handy for, I think, the commissioners to have that on there because they're going to know about those road closures. They're going to know about bridges getting washed out. And right now, we're all doing that by, the old-fashioned pick up the phone and call
Right.
right now. But that doesn't give, that'll give the public the access data.
Particularly if you did have a flood, or you had a fire that was closing stuff down. You could post that on there, those closures, and it doesn't have to be a crossing. You can mark that. You can mark segments of road. You can say this road's closed from here to here.
Yeah.
And the system will allow you to do that. So you can mark off segments of road or a particular point.
Is that off of latitude and longitude, or what's that off of?
Basically, the tool where they mark off segments of road with the editor license.
It's going to be, you have to, there's a survey you fill out that's got a map in it built into the survey.
It's just like you're talking about your field maps. It's the same thing with that.
You can search by address. You can search by latitude and longitude.
He's showing you the non-public side right now. This is the side
no,
y'all
that's
And you would just zoom into an area. You can just zoom in. You can say this road's closed right here, and it's closed on this side and this side. But for each point, you just have to, fill in all the data, click it. Once a day. It'll pop up. It'll refresh in a couple of seconds. And then you just do it again.
Yeah, he's doing it like a road, so you're going to have a segment of road.
Yeah.
From there to there. So you just replicate, then that road will show up on the public map as closed.
Yeah. And then the reason why.
And the reason why.
So they could click on and say that it's closed because of flood, closed because of fire, closed because of construction.
You might have had a hazmat. You could have had anything.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, you put it on there, and then the public can see. They won't see everything that you're seeing, but they'll see enough to know not to drive down that road and why it's closed.
They'll see whether they're interested enough to go see why it's closed themselves.
Yeah, the other day, Judge, I had
That ain't gonna keep them away. That's an attractant.
Yeah. That's a challenge. Well, by God, I think I can go down that road.
So, Sheriff, if you're okay, Casey can reach out back out to you, and we'll let y'all kind of get hands on. And
well, I mean, I hate to keep bragging on it because his head's big already, but out of anybody that's able to sit there and look at that system and say, yeah, there's a local application for it's that guy right there. So, I mean, if he says, hey, I think that's going to be a benefit. I mean, it appears to us on the surface to be a huge benefit, but once he gets in there, if he says, well, it's too clunky, it's too whatever, because typically he only has 2 dispatchers working, and both of them, it's chaos, all day long. So
yeah, we designed this with the same situation that the rest of the counties are in. You don't have enough manpower to be doing a lot of extra stuff, particularly if the bad things are going on. So this was designed to just minimize that.
yeah, well, and I know Judge Davis down there real well. I'll call her and ask her.
Yeah, so we're working with Judge Davis. We're working with their EMC and with their sheriff.
Yeah.
We've had multiple discussions with all of it.
Yeah.
So, I took way longer than 15 minutes, Judge. I apologize.
Well, I know, but like I said, it turned out to be a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. So you did good.
I know he comes to Central Texas with Houston deal on this.
That's not me. That's Casey. Casey's the Astro fan.
Oh, Casey. Should be a Ranger fan.
I grew up in Lubbock, so there was nothing up there I had to follow somebody. From when I was this big.
Now Tech's got a good baseball team.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll be in contact with you.
Yeah.
Sheriff, you're going to reach out to Casey, or Casey, you're going to reach out to the sheriff? All right, good. Thank you. All right. Do what?
The cards, business cards.
Yeah.
Oh, you're again.
Yeah, you're behind. Public budget hearing.
Good.
Sure, you guys don't want to stick around for that. Well, we have no public.
Does he need to open the hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're going to open the hearing at 10 o'clock for the public budget hearing.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Since nobody's here, we're gonna keep it open, I guess, for a couple of minutes. Yeah. I already did that. Nobody's here. Philip's here. Christina, Jason, Jake. Jason, we can talk about that. I mean, I know that, I know your fear is always that deal, but man, if we can get that, if we can push that information out to the public, that was the biggest thing I could see from that last wildfire, is that there was no way to, other than just telling people, hey, don't go on county road, whatever.
If they can get it tied into E-Force, that's my thing. I don't need to add more data entry on the dispatchers. They're already underwater out there. So,
Well, I think that's where a second user, whether it be Shelby or whoever you want to volunteer, sitting somewhere in an emergency like that, doing the data entry.
oh yeah.
This road's closed, that road's
Yeah.
closed, the fire's headed this way,
Yeah.
evacuation order for this area, that type of situation. That's not gonna be on the CAD's not gonna be entering that data
Right.
on there. That you're
Well,
gonna
and-
have to have an entry person.
Well, and technically, I would think, and I'm just thinking, and I'm not, I clearly don't, I'm kind of like the sheriff, I don't want to add extra duties to myself, but if it's that big a deal,
Well, I think
I'm gonna be out there, or
Yeah.
at
I
least,
think we learned during the fires that you're gonna have your secretary sitting right there, and I'm gonna have mine sitting right there
Yeah.
doing stuff just like that.
yeah, but I need to know to do it because she's sick or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, but you ain't gonna have time to do the data entry.
No. I mean, I'll have to.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was, even as crazy as it was, there was a little bit. If it's not too clunky, you could maybe sit there and be able to get on there and say, okay, here's where it's at. Because again, it's tying right back into the Forest Service, which is it's who we need it tied into, because they're using that data to say we need a plane here.
What I do like is it would tie into E-Force on just regular stuff.
You're right.
If it's big, it's gonna have to be more people.
Yeah.
And then I can tie that public website into my app, so that you don't want the public, because they're not gonna do it. If there's too many apps, they don't know where to go.
Yeah.
So you can get it all. I think we can do that.
Right.
I like that.
All right. No public input, so we're closing it at 10:03. E, consider making changes to the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget the Commissioners Court considers warranted by law and required by the interest of the taxpayers.
What I sent out to everybody was all the changes since the proposed budget, and those have already been approved in Commissioners Court. So unless y'all have additional changes to make, we'll go with
I don't
what I
know.
sent out.
Anything from the Commissioners?
No.
Okay. F, Commissioners vote to set salaries, expenses, and other allowances of all elected county and precinct officers.
And this would be what was sent out, what was published and what was sent out to the officials.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
All right, motion by Mr. Raines,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Maxwell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is this the one that we signed the budget certificate?
After the budget's adopted, yes.
Okay. All right, G, adopt fiscal budget.
Judge, I'll ask for a roll call as well.
Okay. You can ask. All right. Commissioner one.
Well,
Wait.
we
I'll
gotta
make
make a
the
motion
motion.
second.
To do a roll call?
No, to
have-
adopt the budget.
Oh,
To have something to vote on.
oh. Man, this thing has moved so much faster.
Robert, you're making the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Rain, second by Commissioner Wilson.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign.
No, I'm doing roll call now. Precinct 1.
Aye.
2.
Aye.
3. 4. Judge.
Maybe.
I
I love Jack Review.
know.
Okay, now, is this the one we're signing?
I will need one for the original,
You always know.
and it needs to be notarized, Judge.
Notarized or? it can't be
Notarized.
attested?
Nope.
Shelby,
Said no.
Come swear at him.
Have some jump to him.
well, why am I signing two?
I don't know why you're signing two. I just need this one page.
Right.
I just wish Michelle was here to hear it.
Yeah.
Got shotgun, right?
What do I have to notarize?
Everybody's signature.
No.
Doesn't she have to notarize everybody's
One.
signature?
Oh, yes. I was talking to Commissioner Wilson about shotguns.
We all swear.
Sure, you say you were? Well, now.
We're waiting on you, Junior.
Oh. Well,
Come on, Papa. You got 2 to sign.
two.
2.
Is it the same thing?
Mhm.
Yes.
Just 2 copies?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
It's not two. Oh.
Oh.
Andy, control your end.
There is no.
It begins with the middle on the middle.
And just for the record, it is on the September 8th agenda to adopt and levy taxes. Adopt the tax rate and levy taxes.
Right, just for the record, everything we do is on the record.
I was just adding it to the
Oh.
record.
So it's a record.
If I apologize, would that be cool? Would you check on that?
Maybe. It'd go quicker if you bought cookies. Can we do file copy of county clerk and auditor?
Yes.
Okay, H, file copy with county clerk and auditor
And what you have is,
for the record.
Kathy, is all you're gonna get until after we adopt.
Okay.
So I'll do the final with everything in it.
And
I'll make
let's see
the
if we
motion.
can fit everybody. Some of them.
No, second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor say aye. Are those books out of pretty soon?
My hand would cramp if I did everybody separately.
You haven't heard all the stuff that we just volunteered you for earlier. Robert.
Yeah, what's wrong?
Did you send that
I need those minutes read back to me.
to? I'll add your name.
Let's hold on.
My secret
Yeah, Robertson, volunteered you to do a little data entry.
She knows better than that.
It was Ronnie.
Shelby.
Just sign anywhere?
There's a little box.
You want me to put my name down here too?
Yeah, I didn't know you.
Well, you just do it. I'll use it as a judge. Sacrifice your talents.
Oh, like I can say.
Well, he just took up your space.
Yeah,
Just sign over his name.
yeah.
Just somewhere in there.
Shelby, here's these.
Thank you.
All right, any other business before the court?
I do not have any.
We entertain a motion to adjourn.
You got it.
Mr. Raines, second by Mr. Wilson. All those in favor say, you betcha. You betcha. All right, we're adjourned.
I didn't hear you say you betcha.
He's nodding his head. I was hearing him through my ESPN.
Were you?
Sir?